It was with the launch of Bitcoin back in January of 2009 that Satoshi Nakamoto paved the way for cryptocurrencies in the future, causing the entirety of the investment world to be shaken to its core. And with the insane amount of wealth that early investments in various altcoins have resulted in, there's no doubt that more and more people are looking to invest with the intention of getting rich quickly. But is cryptocurrency mining something that you should be considering? Or has the time of altcoin mining come and passed? Well, whether you've been thinking of starting your own mining operation or just want to know more about the cryptocurrency trade, you've come to the right place, as we're about to explore everything there is to know about the complex process of crypto mining. So strap yourselves in and get ready for an informative ride, as things are about to get interesting. But before we get into it, make sure to leave a like and subscribe with notifications turned on, so you don't miss out on any of the new videos we post. The rise of cryptos. The cryptocurrency trade might be considered to be one of the most lucrative investment opportunities at the moment, but things weren't always sunny with no chance of rain. In fact, cryptocurrencies only really started to surge in value around 2015, spearheaded by the one and only Bitcoin. And even in the case of Bitcoin, things didn't pop off globally until December of 2017, which is when the price per coin rose from around $300 to a whopping $20,000. Fast forward just a month later, and Bitcoin was then standing solidly at $8,000 per coin, showing just how volatile the crypto market could be. But although Bitcoin seems to be one of the only recognized altcoins around the globe, it must be said that it is far from the only option available to the building investor. There are around 3,000 cryptos listed on investing.com, for example, and although the majority of them have not increased by a single percentage since their creation, a great many have shown the same fluctuations as we experienced with Bitcoin back in the day. Look at Dogecoin, for example, which has seen a massive rise over the past couple of months, but evidently experienced a drop due to the Saturday Night Live skit featuring Elon Musk a few days ago. Never before have investments been so risky, and when there's a risk, there's always a way to make copious amounts of cash, as has been seen in the past. While buying cryptos on an exchange such as Coinbase may be the usual and simple way of obtaining altcoins, a selection of people have chosen to do things the hard way, in the form of crypto mining. The best option for you will likely be based on your own individual circumstances. Let's take a look at what crypto mining actually is, and whether or not it's something you should be taking advantage of. Crypto mining in a nutshell. The mining of cryptocurrency really does seem like a no-brainer when you really think about it, as it involves the setting up of a computer to solve mathematically complex problems with the reward of earning a specific amount of altcoins for your trouble. Essentially, it can be thought of as the process of working for altcoins rather than the purchasing of altcoins using fiat currency, which, as we discussed earlier, is probably the simplest way of obtaining crypto. But although the first Bitcoin miners were able to mine to earn coins relatively quickly from the comfort of their own computers, the world has changed significantly as a result of an oversaturation of the market. But what are these complex problems that miners have had to solve in an effort to be paid? More often than not, miners receive an income from acting as the auditors of a specific crypto. They do the work of verifying the legitimacy of crypto transactions in an effort to keep buyers and sellers of the crypto honest. You see, double spending is something that the cryptocurrency market has had to work with, and is not a problem that we are used to having when it comes to ordinary fiat currency. If you go to a shop holding a real and fake bill, the shopkeeper is most likely going to see that the one bill is fake and not allow you to purchase an item with it. The same could, however, not be said about Bitcoin and other crypto transactions before crypto miners came along. It is thus often the job of crypto miners to evaluate the altcoin transactions that are going on around them and ensure that both buyers and sellers are being honest with one another. As explained by the Investopedia dictionary, there is a risk that the holder could make a copy of the digital coin and send it to a merchant or other party while retaining the original. Essentially, the setup of the crypto miner looks through the metadata of the transactions in question and tries to identify whether this has actually taken place. In fighting double spending such as this, the crypto being evaluated rises in value as it begins its journey to legitimacy, making the miners who worked with the currency wealthier as the days go on. So while this process is synonymous to any position where someone works for the return of altcoins, a crypto miner necessarily works with the altcoin that they are being paid in. The complexity of crypto mining. As we mentioned earlier, the world of crypto mining used to be a lot simpler when things first started out. By 2019, however, cryptocurrency mining became a lot more complicated and involved. When it came to Bitcoin, the reward reward for work done was halved every 4 years, and it became difficult for individual miners to operate as they found themselves in competition with large organizations or established mining practices. It was next to impossible for an individual miner to go up against an operation that was able to mine more than 1 million times the coins that individual miner was able to evaluate in his own time. To make up for this oversaturation, Bitcoin mining pools became a thing, and although this made mining more effective, the pools could only be joined for a fee, thus reducing a person's profits in both the short and long term. Different cryptos require different setups to mine sufficiently, each of which come at their own individual costs, and at the end of the day, a setup that has enough processing power to make a difference and earn you some coinage is going to require a pretty solid investment, regardless of which altcoin you choose to mine. Because of the insane popularity that has followed Bitcoin, there's quite a bit of complexity within the Bitcoin mining community, with some miners spending around $10,000 US on their rigs in an effort to make enough to break even. But then there are other altcoins such as Litecoin, which do not require massive rigs to mine. In fact, the majority of the time miners are able to make use of their home PCs to do so, as Litecoin was designed as a simplified version of Bitcoin at the end of the day. So if you ever wanted to try your hand at mining without investing too much in the beginning, it might be a great idea to start off slowly with a similar altcoin to Litecoin. And then we have crypto such as Dogecoin and Lucky Coin, which use script technology in their proof-of-work algorithms. This means that the mining of these coins can't take place in the same way as the mining of Bitcoin can. Rather, making use of the common SHA-256 equipment of the past, Dogecoin mining requires dedicated FPGA and ASIC devices, which are quite complex and not as widespread as the SHA-256 mining equipment that came before it. This type of equipment is incredibly expensive and requires quite a large amount of computational power to reach a profitable level. Last but not least, something that crypto miners don't often realize is just how much it costs to run a mining rig once it has been built. It isn't simply the case that you invest an initial sum in a rig and watch as it prints money for you. In fact, if you have a high power rate from your mining operation, you could end up spending quite a bit of money on electricity. According to reports, it costs around $3,000 US in electricity to mine a single Bitcoin at the moment, and that is based on numbers from some of the cheapest states as far as electricity costs are concerned. When it comes to states with higher costs, you can expect to run your rig for a cost as great as $6,000 US per Bitcoin. Now you can see why only the largest corporations set up to run Bitcoin mining operations are able to make a profit by setting up in the best state and streamlining everything towards the earnings of Bitcoins. Simply put, there's no space for an individual miner when this is the case. The process of cloud mining. The only available option that seems to remain for individual miners is cloud mining, which can be described as the purchasing of time on someone else's rig. This has caused a number of companies ranging from Genesis Mining to Hashflare to break into the scene, charging customers based on a hash rate. The greater the hash rate, the more processing power you obtain, and the greater your mining capabilities will be. But the higher the hash rate you purchase, the more expensive this rental will be. You should always be wary of what you are signing when dabbling with these companies though, as some require the signing of a year-long contract that locks you in. This could clearly leave you stuck in an unprofitable contract, with the value of the crypto you are invested in dropping while you are forced to watch. So as you can see, the mining of crypto is just as risky as the spending of fiat currency on crypto. Either way, the market is volatile, and you could end up making bank, or nothing at all. But what do you think about the current state of crypto mining? Feel free to let us know in the comments section down below.